Well, welcome back. This is the fourth of four videos looking at what is a project, okay? So during this particular video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at project classification, and we're going to go ahead and finish out the chapter in terms of looking at some of the modern complexities facing project management. But let's start off here. The kind of first point that is made is this idea that one size fits all for every project is just asking for trouble. And I think you've seen that in the previous videos. We divided the space of project management using 4 quadrants, and each of those quadrants have a number of different approaches associated with project management. And so obviously up to 12, which is what we're going to cover during this course. So obviously one size does not fit all. There are at least 12 sizes for fitting projects. The second, and this really goes to leadership and organizations and culture, is as a project manager, your approach to managing any project has to adapt to the environment. Now, of course, there are going to be some best practices and things that you've learned over time, but you've always got to be cognizant of the environment that you're operating in and making sure that you're adapting that approach to where you're working. And a classification rule can help you, and we'll talk about some classification rules in terms of determining your approach and in determining what project management lifecycle model you're going to actually use. Here's some characteristics, and hopefully these make sense to you. Different approaches, different project management life cycles have different degrees of risk associated with them, different measures of business value, different durations and complexity. Different technologies will be used to realize the solutions. Cost varies. Number of departments will vary. And so when you start looking at a project and some of the classifications associated with it, this next table kind of gives you some examples. You can see that you would want to use a different approach associated with a type A project as opposed to a type D project in this particular classification scheme. And all we're really wanting to get to out of this is one size does not fit all. You're going to have to use different approaches to solve problems in IT project management. Otherwise, this would be a really short course. It'd be like, I'd be done. Here's the one approach, go do this, and we're done. But no, it's much more complex. I have job security. All right, let's move on. Here's some other components associated with applying a project. You can look those over real quick, but I think they're relatively straightforward in terms of things that you're going to have to do and think about as you're working through a project. Here's another way of looking at these are required and optional processes, and again it goes back to that project classification. And it goes into, is it a required task? Is it an optional task? This define would be an example of scoping, planning it out, launching the project, monitoring it, and then closing the project out. So again, there are things you're going to have to keep in mind as you're working through and solving particular projects. All right, and finally, when you look at the contemporary project environment, very fast, very high change, lower and lower costs, lots of complexity and uncertainty. And if you look at the little triangle over there, I would argue for most chief information officers or vice chancellors or presidents for information technology, you've got this trade-off between innovation and cost efficiency and agility that you're always engaged in. The agility component leads to deploying projects faster and faster, and as soon as you finish one project, you're moving on to another project. And you need a culture that supports that type of work. There's another component that's associated with cost efficiency, that this piece of information technology has moved to a commodity, and you're really a cost center for those components, and that's a different culture associated with it and a different kind of work environment. And then finally, you've got parts of your business that are very innovative, and if they're especially innovative, occasionally they're going to fail, and you don't want that failure over on the cost efficiency side or on the agility side, but it's absolutely foundational on the innovation side if you're really pushing the boundaries. And so that's the challenge you're going to run into as a modern IT leader and running through these projects. As many folks like to quib occasionally, all the simple problems have been solved. And so the problems and the issues and the projects that you're involved with right now, they're high speed, high change, low cost with a lot of complexity and uncertainty. And at that same time, that IT leader is trying to run one organization that has to be agile, innovative, and cost efficient, all three of which require completely different cultures. All right, well, very good. Guess what? That brings us to the end of the fourth video associated with what is a project. And what we're going to do in the next set of videos is get in and start looking at project management. In fact, we'll have 6 videos in the next series. So keep on studying, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.